No, it's a yelper. Very yelper.
He had spring turkey hunting with Primos, so downtown Jackson. I looked over, Will Primos in a Z71 Chevrolet sitting right beside me at the red light, and I'm like,
Boy, Stewart.
I know, he said, yeah, he'll tell you real quick. So
There you go.
got a few boxes and just a little bit of everything in here. This is, we got some old, we got some new.
Golly,
Some that I hunt with, some that are terrible, some decorative.
that's pretty neat. What's your favorite one in there? You think?
You know, I'm just like a box call man. I just like a good double-sided box.
I told him you love a box call about more than
you know,
anything.
probably so.
He probably.
What's your favorite box call in there? You
Paddle
think?
call. You know, most of my like really good stuff's
Yeah,
at the
turkey
house.
Is that a DD one right there?
I can find that's Lamar Williams. I think I've hunted with this one a pretty good bit. It's a butternut there in Dawkins.
Okay.
You can buy those, right, Dalton?
You can.
Yeah. Darren sells those.
Yeah, it may take a couple of years to get on his website, but you know, me and him got to be pretty good friends. This is one that he had a turkey vest. I mean, I had a turkey vest that he wanted. I had one of those Bob Dixon vests.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And he wanted it so bad he traded me the #1 short box for that Bob Dixon vest.
He must have wanted it pretty bad.
He feels like that he got the advantage on me, but he did.
Those Bob Dixon vests go for a pretty penny now.
At the time, they were selling for about $300. I think they're up there around 1,000 now. You know,
I've seen them on some of the forums and stuff. There,
I had 2 of them and sold them. You know, sold them both. I don't know why. I should have probably just kept one, but I mean, you know, who would have thought? You know, that it would be that you know, that much of a sought after and collectible. So. Hard to say. This is kind of cool right here. So this is you talk about the history of turkey hunting.
That's
so this is how I learned how to turkey hunt.
That's old Will Primos.
With this was before the this we went over to the old Widener Arms and Tackle in Augusta, and you know, back then, you know, before y'all guys' time, VCR tape was like $49. You know, so I mean that was like real money. You know, back in 1988. So I talked my grandmother into buying it for me, and she bought me spring turkey hunting with Will Primos. The only thing that I really regret is I should have had her autograph it and sign it, because she's no longer with us now. But cool. She bought me this, and then she bought me a Lynch box call, and that was my first. That was my first two turkey calls. So and then of course I had like a Quaker Boy Old Boss Hen and a Quaker Boy Jake Special, and that was what was in my vest. And I watched this video. It had like 2 kills, maybe 3 kills on there. Will was hunting down around Natchez, Mississippi, which is where my wife's actually from. So, you know, little did I know, you know, I mean.
Tell them about when you go to class, you see Will riding around.
Oh yeah. So the cool thing is, so when I go to Mississippi to law school, I go out there, and apparently I live on the same exit that Will Primos does. So, you know, Will was always like my childhood hero and idol, you know. So I would, as I'm going into law school, Will was going into the office, you know. So that first semester, maybe about 3 times, I pull up at the red light, you know, in Pearl, Mississippi, on the way into town. Look at here, you know, I'm in the right place now. So anyway, that was, you know, I'm sure he just looked over there like, you know, he'd kind of look and nod at you or whatever. He's like, why the hell is that guy talking at me? You know? Like, what is he doing? You know, what a weirdo, you know. So, but anyway, I was always
I know
impressed with Will.
Well, what tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about these. Show me these. Now, I know me and you have hunted with these over the last few years. But talk about those a little bit. They're a little unique.
So this is what we call. Y'all want me to come out of the closet?
Come on.
You'll like this one. That's what I was looking for right there. All right, so this is a call that my buddy Rhett Palmer makes. Me and him been hunting together since probably 1994, maybe 1995. He calls this the Sleepy Hen, and it's just a little small tree call. You just run it with a corn cob striker. You think that a turkey can't hear it, but I mean he'll hear it on the other side of that pond over there. You know, I mean you just. It's a small single slate glued on a round piece of wood. It was me and Rhett, you know, it's kind of a close in call. I mean they'll hear it a long way out, but it's awesome for finishing a bird. Just a few clucks and purrs and just a little scratching the leaves, and you know he's probably gonna come over there. But you know, a couple of times I would you know you think the bird's coming and you drop the strike. I mean, you drop the striker or you drop the call itself like in your lap, and you're up on the gun, and then he's hung up out there, and you're like, man, I need to purr to him, you know. So I put this strap so when you're sitting down, you can just drop it, and it just lays right across your thigh. And then if for some reason he doesn't come, you can ease down there and get it again. So that's but anyway, Rhett's been making these. He's been making these calls for a long time. But if you get as tight as you possibly can to him and hit him with that, he may not gobble at it, but just because he doesn't gobble doesn't mean he ain't coming.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, I can't tell you how many times. Now this one, I had a friend of mine that went on a mission trip over to the Holy Land, and he brought back some olive wood that's like, I mean, I don't know how many thousands of years old that olive wood is, but anyway, Rhett took that olive wood and made us all a call. So that's an olive wood sleepy hen that was, you know, over there hanging out when Jesus was. That's just kind of
pretty cool there.
That's kind of cool, you know. So that's probably I kill more birds with the sleepy hen than probably any other call. I probably had, you know, have the best luck with it. I'm confident with it. I mean, you can slip right up there to him and hit him with that. Now, if you got any kind of wind or anything, or it's, you know, later on in the morning, it's more of a finishing call, or either a right at daylight kind of deal. I hunt my son, so of course he's like, Daddy, they can't hear that. And I'm like, he can't. Like, he ain't gobbling at it like he is that hen cackling. I'm like, just give it a minute, you know.
He knows
you're there.
He knows we're here, you know. Yeah. So that's all.
They can hear a lot better than people give them credit for.
It's deadly, man.
Yeah.
It's a great call. See, and that's, again, like
a lot of people overcall.
The commercially made my calls now, they put like a half a dozen reeds, and you have got to scream across the thing to get a sound out of there. I mean, you're like, I mean, you know, I just want to talk in a normal voice like a normal hen would, you know. So.
Well, on topic of that, I know you don't run a mouth call a ton. I know you do some, obviously, just keep one in, you know.
Right.
But
I do. Yeah.
But what would be your choice on mouth call as far as reeds? I know me and you discuss this a lot, I know me and him like a 2.5 reed.
I want that little bit of backing on there, so
that
I can hit a hard.
If I have to,
I can bear on it if I have to. I got that little bit of a cut on there. And I mean, I like the snake, you know, snake cut, I guess, or the split V, V cut. I mean, that's kind of that's probably my favorite. So I'm probably not using the right name for it, but anyway, the one that's kind of,
as long as it makes a good noise to it, it don't matter what you call it.
That's the one I like. So and I like maybe 2.5 reeds, you know, maybe 2.
It's all preference, I guess.
It is, yes. I mean,
it's just if you run them enough, you like. I just hate hearing air coming out of my mouth that's not coming to the call. Yeah. You know, like if
you're wasting it.
And if you hear that, and that's what most people like on TV, they just pounding on them 3-reed calls, and it's. But there's no telling how much air you're losing.
I've hunted with people before, and you hear. I mean, they're making this noise before you even hear a yelp come out. They're trying to hit. They're trying to find the node.
Yeah.
And it takes that much pressure to find the node. I mean, you sound like a 400-pound hen. Like they don't exist in nature.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, that's.
You need to get in here and video this stuff. To talk about this. This is the
named Parker Whedon, who's one of the old masters of turkey hunting and turkey calls. He makes these. He calls it a spirit yelper. It's kind of an adjustable wing bone. and
That's all you call that.
he's makes it out of a 223 casing, and it's got a little piece of like a piece of plastic tubing in there, so you can kind of adjust it and get a different sound.
That's sweet.
So anyway, then he hand scrimshaws
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
a turkey on there. It's pretty neat. He calls it the Spirit Yelper.
Spirit Yelper.
So anyway, he and I got to be friends. We both attorneys. We had that and turkey hunted in common. So, but what we got here, this is just kind of a collection of some of the suction yelpers I have, or trumpet yelpers. They're kind of probably one of the oldest forms of turkey calling. So then, you know, somewhere along the way, maybe back in the, I say back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, you had a turkey game biologist, E.A. McElhenney. His family owned the McElhenney plantation that's famous for the Tabasco sauce. You see the E.A. McElhenney.
That's right.
One of the heirs to that thing was a big turkey hunter. He ended up getting killed by a poacher, but he was down in southwest Louisiana, down on the bayou, and he kind of took the idea of the wing bone or the suction call, and then kind of fashioned his own call, either from some type of Louisiana river cane or some type of other I guess hardwood. And I don't know that he turned it on a lathe. He probably did, but in any event, you've got some of the this is an old book I've got here, American Wild Turkey by Henry Davis. He's got, you know, he talks about McElhenney in that book. He was an attorney, probably died back in the 50s, but he was a big pioneer of the wild turkey and the wild turkey hunting. That's known to, I mean, you can, this is a first edition I got right here, relatively collectible. You can get a copy of it to read. I mean, it's really cool. Y'all would like it. It goes into and delves into a lot of the history behind the sport and kind of where we came from to get where we are now. It's kind of hard. I mean, it's easy to lose sight and lose track of that because, you know, turkey hunting's so commercialized now. You know, everybody's going to hunt a thunder chicken and all this kind of stuff, you know. And anyway, this is the roots of the sport and kind of where it came and where it's evolved. So a lot of these are some type of a wood, you know, they're turned on a lathe. There's some type of wood. We got a number of different, or maybe even acrylic. You got some acrylic here. Yeah, you got that is some type of, I think that's cypress right there. You got some cocobolo. You've got African blackwood. You've got let's see, I can probably open this up for you. You got
the one from the house there, though?
Yeah. You've got some Bodoc, Osage orange. You got, this is acrylic. That's what they call a green hornet right there. That was a real limited run I was able to get. You got some made out of elephant ivory there. Most of these are contemporary makers. Most of these guys, maybe with the exception of one or so, are still alive and still making trumpet calls. Frank Cox, this is all of Frank's work here. He's got a few other ones out here. Frank Cox lives in Memphis, Tennessee. He's kind of a real old school kind of student of the wild turkey, and in the fact that he makes his calls are old. He kind of goes by the old style, like the Tom Turpin, like the Henry Davis. I mean, all of his stuff is really, it's not like just thrown together on some CNC machine, and, you know, outsourced over to China like Frank makes them in his shop. Got a couple that are made out of elephant ivory here. He made me a match set of elephant ivory calls, which is, I mean, I probably had those, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, but they're, I mean, it's hard to find. It's even harder. It was hard to find elephant ivory then. It's even harder now. Frank Cox, I mean, I like Frank's style. It's kind of classic and timeless. Let's see, this is the one I usually, my Frank Cox hunting call right here is African blackwood, and it's got a elephant ivory mouthpiece. It's got an elephant ivory, well, the lip stopper is rubber, but then it's got kind of an ivory bead there to hold the lanyard on there. So it's just a classic, you know, kind of design. Of course, they're all made by hand, so the dimensions are going to vary. So each one's going to have a little bit of subtle difference from the other one. Some of the others we got, I've got a couple that I got in last week, made by Louis Stowe. He's
from North Carolina.
He is, yeah. He's a world champion caller. I mean, he's been, doing it since like way before I was born. He's an old school hunter. Darren Dawkins is a good friend of mine. Darren said Lewis is the deadliest turkey hunter he knows, and to me, Darren is the most deadly turkey hunter I know. I've hunted with Darren. Darren's hunted down here with me a bunch of times. If Darren says you're good, I mean, you don't want to be a turkey in the woods with Darren or Lewis. So, but then we got you got Zach Farmer here. There's a elephant ivory, and then I think that's Coca-Cola. That's made by Zach Farmer. He's a reverend up in South Carolina.
He's an older guy too.
Older fella, yeah. Most of these guys are old. I mean, they're the ones that I have. I bought several. I mean, I bought some farms and had some children, so my disposable turkey call income got cut significantly. So most of my stuff's gonna be a little bit older. I'm not, keeping up with the Joneses and buying all the new stuff that's out there right now. I'm kind of happy with what I got. I mean, I'll pick one up, here and there when it comes available. So
that's what makes it unique. It's all a little older, so it's just something people don't see every day.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, and it's hard. Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's a box call, a slate call. Some of that stuff is relatively user friendly, relatively easy to use. A trumpet's not. I mean, it's like an instrument. Yeah. So. I mean, it's
Tell me what you were telling me about just the killer aspect of it. What makes it so much different than any other call out there. So I mean, like what you were telling me, you've killed turkeys with this when they wouldn't gobble at anything else, but you yelped on this thing, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it does. I mean, people always talk about like, oh, it's we got this secret call that's going to bring all the birds in, and it's just going to be this great thing, and I've had excellent luck with a yelper because I think that it is a call that not everybody has heard. I mean, when I say not everybody, I don't mean we're not calling up hunters. I'm talking about hens haven't heard. So it's when you back off 50 yards from somebody and blow this thing and hit it, it's gonna sound like a hen. I mean, you're immediately if you're sitting in the woods like me and Red are split up. And he hits the trumpet. When he hits those first couple of clucks, I mean, you immediately just lock down and cut your eyes like, there's a hen over there. How did she slip in here? And then it's him sitting over there. But something about it. It's got a very. I mean, there's two different styles that people use to blow them. You got like the clear style where you just pull through and just do kind of a clear yelp. It's got kind of a melodic melody or tone to it, but it sounds like a turkey at a distance. And then you got the Zach Farmer style where those guys yelp with a lot more rasp in their call. They kind of hold the call a little different and put a little bit more rasp in it. So.
It'll put you on the spot unless you hit that thing.
I'll be glad to. All right, so let's. That's the clear style.
So a lot better than me. That's what I was about to say. A heck of a lot better than me. He's trying to teach me. But.
All right, so this is the Zach. This is a Zach Farmer right here. This is a Zach blows his call with like a lot of rasp, and his calling style to me is harder to do. I like the clear style a little better. Not saying one's better. I mean, one may be better for me, one may be better for Mitch. I mean, but this is kind of how Zach does it. I'm not as good as Reverend Farmer style, but that's I mean, you get the gist of it. It's got a lot more. You blow it with a lot less lip pressure. I mean, you just kind of just relax your lips and just pull air through there, and it just kind of just makes that raspy So, but Those are my, you know.
What's unique? I'm standing right here and I'm hitting that thing. I'm gonna be honest, I sound terrible. And you'll say that like you're like, God, this thing, what's up with this thing? You know, if you're hungry, like, what is wrong with this? Yeah. But you walk out 60, 70 yards, and it's amazing. Especially the clucks are just unreal how clear they sound. And I just don't think you get anything from a diaphragm, a slate, or anything like that. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you can crank down on them calls and you sound like real turkey, but it's just something about that. It's just smooth.
Well, you know, it's something that not many birds have heard. You know, yeah. I mean, it's just another tool in your arsenal. You know, I mean, like, I think that's one of the reasons the sleepy hen is so effective. The little tiny slates, because there ain't nothing out there like that. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you know,
there's a time and place for everything.
That's right. They get blown away. They get blown away with a slate. They get blown away with a glass. They get blown away with a box. I mean, they, you know.
Then all of a sudden, something
they
subtle.
like, wait a minute, now that sounds like a hen. You know, I mean, that's a hen over there. Yeah. So turkey season rolls around. Well, I'm even bigger turkey hunter than deer hunter, obviously. So I decide, you know, damn it, we're gonna find somewhere to turkey hunt. So I got a guy in my law school class named Kevin Runlett. And Kevin, lawyer out in Mississippi, but me and Kevin decided we're gonna go hunt public land. So Mississippi comes in on March 15th. All right, like whether March 15th is a damn Sunday or a Tuesday or whatever, they don't care. You know, turkey season comes in on the 15th. So we skip class on the 15th and we go out. We had been out and scouted this is a management area just to the, is back to the east of Jackson, Mississippi. So it's out there around Morton and Puckett. I forget what the name of it is. But anyway, so we had some spots that we had found back in there. So me and Kevin decide, all right, we're gonna get, this is public land. We're gonna get away from the hunters. Like we both in good shape at the time. We fixing to go. You know, we gonna walk. We gonna walk. So we walk and we walk and we walk. And I mean, we go so far back down in the middle of the woods like that. There ain't been nobody here since the Indians. You know. So by that time, we're on this woods road. You know, and we see like way up ahead, we see kind of like a reddish glow. I thought I saw it. I didn't want to say anything. I'm like, all right, I don't want to be the man that like saw something glowing in the woods. Like, I mean, because we never even hunted together before, so he didn't know me. I didn't really know him outside of class. So, walk a little bit further, you know, I see it again. I said, Kevin, I tapped him on the side. I said, Kevin, you see something glowing up there? He looks. By the time we see it glow, he's like, yeah, I did see it. He's like, it's too cold for lightning bugs. You know, I don't know what it is. So anyway, we walk up there. There's this dude from Arkansas smoking a cigar. And when he take a draw on that thing, the end of it, the tip of it would glow. And we're like, damn. You know, like, we're like, hey man, what's going on? You know, he was right where we wanted to be set up. He's like, yeah, I'm in here just waiting on daylight. We're like, we left my house at like 2 in the morning to go turkey hunt. We're like, how long you been here? He's like, I've been here probably about an hour and a half. Like, We're like, we just come on down the road. He's like, well, man, I ain't trying to, be rude, but I got 2 more buddies like down the road further.
Good gracious!
So he got to be daylight, and finally we heard a bird way off, and so we went and got close to that bird. And Kevin's a good caller, and I ain't bad. So we're calling those birds, and it's the opening day of the season. And there is so many people yelping and calling around us that we sounded the most like turkeys, okay? So this is what those turkeys do. Now, we got 2 decoys out, and we're set up big, giant, beautiful hardwoods. So the turkeys are out there, like, say, on the other side of the pond. They're probably about 350, 400 yards away. Well, we hear them getting closer, and then all of a sudden we hear some flapping. Well, what happened was those turkeys, we found out after the fact, those guys from Arkansas come down every year like a week early and just run all through the public land calling them up ahead of time. Just calling and walking and calling. And so those hens tree hopped all the way to where we were and are looking down on our decoys and sat there for probably 15 minutes. Now the gobbler was still behind him. He was in another tree gobbling, but the hens came up. They watched our spread for probably 10 minutes. They didn't see any movement. And they turned around and tree hopped back to the gobbler, flew down and went the other way. And we never saw them again. Nobody shot. I mean, we were like,
crazy.
we got to find somewhere else to go. Like this
That ain't gonna work.
Plan ain't for me. So that was
and that was in, when was that? What year was that?
1988. I mean, excuse me, 1998.
So can you imagine what it'd be now?
I can't imagine, because even in '98, not many people hunted there. So I had a little hunting club on the edge of town that me and Kevin, after that morning hunt was so terrible, I was like, well, look, I got a hunting club that I got in for deer hunting. It was like 300 acres. It's got a gas line going through it. Let's go out there and see if we can kill one. And so we're walking down the gas line, and it had a bunch of hills in it. We come up over the hill, and Kevin just grabs me and tackles me. He saw the top of a fan down there. So we call to the bird, and we're laying in the middle laying on our stomach in the middle of a gas line right away. We call to the bird, and some hens answer us down there, so we're kind of having this standoff for a little while. So Kevin's like, I'm gonna back up, I'm like, back up? What are you doing? I've read about that in magazines, but that don't work, So he starts calling and backing up, and next thing I know, that dang hen just comes right to him, and that gobbler comes over the top of the hill, and I smoked him at about 25 yards. And at the time, he was the number 10 longbeard in the NWTF records for the state of Mississippi. So he's 25 pounds, inch and just shy of inch and a half. He wasn't full inch and a half. He's like maybe inch and 5/16, and 25 pounds, and had a 11 3/4 inch beard. So he was a hoss of a typical bird. But I put him in the record book, and I used to get this Mississippi magazine that had number 10 Dalton Dowdy, and then some dude bumped me out of there. So they don't put me in the book anymore. I'm probably
seems like nothing.
I'm probably like number 30 or something now. Anyway, it was fun while it lasted.
That's still your biggest bird, isn't it?
Yeah, one of the biggest. But now that one right there he's got a double beard. And and was he weighed, that was a Rio, he was 25 pounds, an inch and a half.
Ooh. That's pretty good. And you've killed the world, or you've killed the world or the U.S. flag?
I've killed the Royal. I have not killed a world, so I've killed I've killed everything but the oscillator.
Well, thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I love talking turkey.
I know, we do it for another 3 hours.
Yeah, I've heard all about y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming out.
Thank you.
Y'all have to come down here and eat supper with us.
Sir.